They've been great, man. We did the year checkup and all that stuff looked great as well. But on the other side, I also talked to spine specialists, some who've worked on people in the company and done their fusions, and they said like, hey, I would not wrestle again if I were you. So for me, at 37, these are things that I think about. I think about quality of life. When I started this job at 23 years old and probably had a bit of a death wish and was okay dying in the ring, I now at 37 would like to not die in the ring. I would like to do other things with my life. So I don't really have a timeline right now. I'm just really grateful to not have any nerve pain. My strength is great. Legit, no issues whatsoever. So it's just something I want to be smart about and make the very best decision for my life because, hopefully I'd like to have a lot of healthy life ahead of me. So I just want to be smart about the decision. So unfortunately right now I have no answers. I feel great. But yeah, I got nothing.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. And today, I'm going to be getting into a spotlight of a wrestler. And I know that I have that secondary channel working the shoot that I've tried to concentrate on wrestling content. But it's really been hard for me to try to keep up with two channels at the same time with the other things I have going on. Schedule-wise, so I wanted to just post the spotlight here because this is a wrestler that I've been a fan of since he has come out, and he had to retire recently, and kind of even more so with recent medical reports coming out. But we're going to talk about the wrestler Big E. That's right, Big E. I'm going to give you some of his pedigree information. Born Ettore? E-T-T-O-R-E, right? And his last name is Ewan. Born March 1st, 1986. Hails from Tampa, Florida. Some of his accolades are a high school wrestling champion. He also was a football player and did other activities at the University of Ohio. And actually, before he made it big in wrestling, he was a powerlift champion. Like powerlifting, basically like bodybuilding. He was like a bodybuilder champion, and he had actually set national records for the 275-pound division. 275-pound. I don't know why I said it like that, but for the 275-pound division, he had set national records, just records in general, smashed them. He broke the deadlift. Record. I don't know why I froze there for a second with that word. He can deadlift 749 pounds. Holy moly, bro. He can squat. Jesus. He can bench press 490. And he can squat 611 pounds. Jeez Louise, bro. And I always make fun of, like, oh, these big guys are so big, right? Oh, but they can't probably even reach their butt to wipe it, right? But I'm not going to say that to Big E. No way, no way. And I thought that was really cool to find out about him. And then he set the record, and I don't know necessarily the bodybuilding lingo and the terminology here, but he also broke the raw total pounds record for 1,850 pounds, 1,850 pounds of raw total pounds. For those of you who are a little bit more into the bodybuilding and that field, let me know what that kind of means down below. But it sounds impressive. That sounds like a lot of weight to be being manhandled by Big E, right? And all right, also Florida state records, also right, and he eventually got into the WWE through Florida Championship Wrestling at the time. That was like their minor league system, their training facility, where they wrestlers like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Xavier Woods, these guys went through these programs and was taught on and off by Dusty, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And I think Jim Cornette was involved with FC. No, he was involved with OVW, my fault. So never mind about... but Jim Cornette might have helped him along the way too. I'm not too sure. And then he was able to get into the NXT program, and what I found to be cool with him in the NXT show was that they were trying to show how powerful he was. So what he would do is when he would do his moves and everything and pin his opponent, he would have the referee count to 5 instead of 3 to say, like, to show how much he knocked that person out, that he can pin him for an extra 2 seconds and not be concerned about that, right? That he's going to kick out. So they built him up pretty good. He had some good, decent feuds where one of his feuds, people he feuded with even put a bounty on his head because he remained undefeated in NXT during that time. And they basically put him up to Raw, and his initial storyline was with AJ Lee and CM Punk, and really got his feet wet with that programming with those guys, which was really a good thing to kind of get in the ground floor, so to speak, with CM Punk, you know what I mean? CM Punk may get a lot of grief from a lot of people, but I trust his wrestling knowledge and what he can bring to the table with people, especially younger talent. And even though that was so many years ago, he was still in the business for so long that he was kind of still a veteran, considered a veteran at that point, to be able to help Big E. And they eventually put Big E into the New Day. And during his time, during all this, he wound up winning the Intercontinental Championship. With the New Day, he became many times tag team champion. Sorry about that, guys. That was totally weird that my light did that. I'm going to leave that in because I'm kind of a few minutes into this video and I don't really feel like starting again. You stay. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, 2-time Raw Tag Team Champion, 6-time SmackDown Champion, and they had the record for the most days as Raw Tag Team Champion, 483 days. And he also won the Money in the Bank briefcase in 2021, later cashing it in and becoming the 33rd Triple Crown winner in the WWE and its history, which may sound like a lot, but with how many people were actually in the WWE, it's not that many. To be the 33rd person to do anything, yes, it's not the top 5 or the top 1, but being the 33rd of anything in a population of 8 billion people is pretty impressive, in my opinion. It's, you know, he's dedicated himself no matter where he's went in his career. He excelled and broke records and was able to get fame and fortune and admiration not only from the fans but from his fellow competitors. This man in real life is hysterical. He's funny. He's very charismatic. He's got the riz, if you will, and that's why it was so much of a shame to see him get injured during fight with the Brawling Brutes at the time. He was given a suplex and had landed on his neck wrong and winded up breaking his neck, thus retiring him at this point in 2023. So that's how far he was trying to bring this back for himself, that he was injured for almost 2 years and was trying to do the rehab and the training and everything, and the doctors are telling him not to wrestle again. Like it could be bad if he does, and he wants to come back, and he said that he wants to try to do his best to come back, being he was cut so short, especially after achieving the WWE Championship. It's so disappointing to see someone who actually deserves good things to come into his life to have something so shoddy happen to him, and for the world to see too. And not only is he beating himself up over it, the guy who broke his neck had been, very hurtful in his own self that he did that, but Big E forgave him immediately, and he was like, no, this is not his fault. It just was a horrible accident. I don't think he did this on purpose. So please, guys, don't. He's feeling horrible enough. Basically was what Big E's words were to the fans. Don't. I'm about positivity, and I'm positive that this man's a good man and did not do this on purpose. So the guilt he's carrying around is the guilt enough for me to even tell him not to feel guilty. It just was a bad stroke of luck, so to speak. And he's able to... It was very scary because at first I wasn't sure if there was going to be any paralysis or anything like that. That's how bad it was. And that's how bad it still is, where the doctors are really having to tell this man, you may think you're all right, but you might be setting yourself up to be permanently paralyzed if you go back and take another bad fall like that. So essentially at this point, Big E is retired from wrestling, and I will leave off by saying, in a way, or as I wrap this video up, at one point it was thought that Adam Copeland, aka Edge, would never come back due to his neck injury, or that Paige, aka Saraya, who's now in AEW, would never come back because of her injuries. So these are two examples of wrestlers who were told they had to retire and not wrestle anymore, being able to come back and wrestle and wrestle good. You know what I mean? Wrestle really decent matches, exciting matches, not like they're wrestling like an 80-year-old where you have to gently put them down. And it's not like a dad wrestling with his kid where you're not doing full power on him or anything. You just... you're bouncing them off the bed or whatever, right? No, they really are hard-hitting matches and going in full force. So there is a chance Big E may come back one day. I hope that day, if it ever does happen, is sooner than later, but not at the expense of his health either. I love Big E. And I hope that they can maybe do stuff with him down the road, like commentary, or produce like an agent or a trainer or something to help the next generation come in and learn from him. I think he still has a lot to offer, not only to the wrestling business, but to life itself. He's so charismatic and funny, I can see him being like a regular comedic actor, or like an actor that can try to get their chops wet in TV shows and stuff like that. I don't think this will be the last we hear from Big E. I feel like with his positivity and the relationship he built with the fans, as part of the New Day, as part of just being himself, he's got so many gifts that are made out of him, right? The one where he's oiling himself up, the one where he's eating popcorn. He's just a silly big teddy bear that looks intimidating but probably wouldn't hurt a kitten type of guy. And I think this is why everyone is so disappointed with this turn of events for our man Big E. But Big E, if you ever are to come across this video, I don't know how, but if you do, we would love to have you here on Tully Television for sure, doing something goofy. I'll let you take the lead, man, on it. Anything you want to do here on Tully Television, you got open invite, Big E. I mean that. And that's where I'm going to leave this. Keep up the good work, Big E. Keep up the positivity. Keep up your head, man. You're going to make it through, even if it's not through wrestling, obviously. Here's to big man slapping man meat.